Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word in sincerity and in truth. Okay, I'm going to do a lesson on this article. I seen it, I seen it yesterday, and it was interesting when I had seen the title. Because when I seen it, scriptures automatically came to mind. I didn't read the whole thing, but I read some of it just to see, what this person was saying. And some of it actually lines up with the scriptures. And, you gotta peek through it to really understand. But I'm gonna go into it. And then I also got a video, because I remembered when I was kind of contemplating on, contemplating on the lesson itself and how I could see it going. I started, precepts came to mind, but also too started to remember some of the videos that I seen years ago going into a similar topic like this. So I got one of those videos. It was from the brother in Dallas, GMS, or this GMS in Rome, Lions on Fire. I got his, he reposted another video that another brother did, which, we'll get into that when it come up. But I'm going to start reading the article first. It says, I have a warning for humanity after I died for 32 seconds. It says, a woman was clinically dead for less than a minute, and she received a glimpse of humanity's terrifying future. Angela Harris was a teacher and mother of 2 young children, and she had a near-death experience during a routine medical test in 2015. Just 18 minutes into a tilt table test used to diagnose the cause of unexplained fainting spells, Harris went into seizures and said she was ejected from her body and entered another realm. In a cloud-like space described as the afterlife, she was met by the souls of her deceased loved ones from her current life as well as from past lives. And when I had read that, it reminded me of a video I seen, which I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it. But it was a woman, it was Eve, so-called black woman, and I wouldn't be surprised if this actually was what happened. I mean, not what happened, but this was actually the case. And I'm just not, I don't know. No, this ain't it. But whatever the case may be, I remember the video, it was Eve. And she was it was like some type of interview, and she had died. But she came back to life, but she explained what happened when she died. And I think either she died or she had a near-death experience. And it was saying, she had said that when she got close to, whenever she died or whatever the situation was, she seen all her previous lives that she lived. Saying that, reincarnate, basically acknowledging reincarnation. And she was saying how she was connected to all her previous lives that she had lived when she was, on the earth at a different time, which that's 100% true, because reincarnation is most definitely in the Bible. And I'm going to just get a quick precept. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7. No, I'm sorry. It's Deuteronomy 30. Might have passed. Let's see. Is it Deuteronomy 30? Let me see. Okay, it's Deuteronomy 5, Salaki. Deuteronomy chapter, Deuteronomy chapter 5, 9 and 10. Well, starting at 8, thou shalt not make any graven image or any likeness or anything of anything that is in heaven above or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord, am thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities upon the children, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Right. So it said upon the third and fourth generation. Now, we understand how reincarnation works, and we understand that if you come back within the third or fourth generation of your family line, it's not that you die, you go to heaven, and that's where you at for all eternity, or you die and go to hell. First of all, hell don't even exist, you know. And secondly, you don't just go to the spirit world and stay there forever. The Lord recycles that spirit, regeneration, reincarnation. You know, you come down in another body, same spirit, different life. And like I said, in between the third and fourth generation, and you come back and serve your judgment, whether your judgment was good or bad. Now, in this case, it said visiting iniquity, meaning the Lord. I'm reading the AMP. It says, you must not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God who will not tolerate your affection for any other gods. I lay the sins of the parents upon their children. Meaning, when you come back in your family line, that's when I'm going to get you. That's what the Lord is saying. The entire family is affected, even children in the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. Now, verse 10, KJV, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So he's a just power. He's going to punish those who deserve to be punished and have mercy on those who he deemed worthy of mercy, who he has mercy on. He's not going to just, if your parent sin, you suffer the consequences. It's not that. It's you, when they come back in there. Because even if you just say you're you right now, you have a son, just speaking to the men, you have a son, your son have a son, your son have a son, your son have a son, you done passed away already, your next son, or the son after that have a son, that's still your family line. That would still be considered your children, because they all come from you. And then you can come back within one of those generations. Now I'm gonna get another precept. Just to prove reincarnation is in the Bible. This is 2 Esdras 14, 34 and 35. It says, therefore, if so be that you will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, you shall be kept alive, and after death you shall obtain mercy. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. When we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly be declared. So it said specifically, when we shall live again after death. If reincarnation didn't exist, there would be no living again after death. It's a lot. You give me 1 second. Alright, it's a lot here. I'm trying to multitask and do multiple things at one time. So there wouldn't be no living again after death. Now I'm gonna get that in the GNT. This is 2 Esdras 14, 34, and 35 in the GNT. But if you would discipline your thoughts and would be willing to learn, you will be kept safe in this life and will be granted mercy after death. For judgment day comes after death, we will be brought back to life. See, we will be brought back to life, and the righteous people will be made known, while what the godless have done will be exposed. So it say we'll be brought back to life, and that ain't talking about resurrected, you coming out of your graves and going to the heaven, like it said with when Yahweh shall return, the dead in Yahweh shall rise first. That's true, and that's going to happen. But those people who already died in this truth have been reincarnated before too. So that's why I stated like that. Judgment day, or the day of the Lord, It's not gonna happen in that lifetime, but it's gonna happen in in another lifetime, a latter lifetime. Let's get another scripture. This is Daniel chapter 12. I'm gonna read verse 4 and then I'm gonna jump down in the AMP. But you, Daniel, keep this prophecy a secret. Seal up the book until the time of the end, which we living in now, when many will rush here and there, and knowledge will increase. Now I'm gonna jump down to verse 13. It says, as for you, go your way unto the end. You will rest, meaning you will die, and then at the end of the days, you will rise again to receive the inheritance set for you. Right, so he said you was gonna die, you was gonna perish, well, not perish, I don't want to say it like that, but you was gonna die. This is not the lifetime that you was gonna live. I didn't even realize I didn't have the AMP up. All right, verse 13 in the AMP. But as for you, Daniel, go your way unto the end of your life. See, Daniel was now over 90 years of age, which, it don't say, but Daniel was older. He says, for you will rest, meaning you was going to die, and rise again for your allotted inheritance at the end of the age. Right. And we're at the end of the age. Let's get another one. I usually forget where this is. That's the spirit of the apostle to heart in Daniel chapter 12. That's exactly where we at. Where we're. Let's see. So Revelation 7. Let's see. Oh, it's Revelation 10. Revelation 10 and 11. It says, then they said to me, you must prophesy. Well, let me start up a little bit. Start at 9 in the AMP. So I went up to the angel and told him to give me the little book. And he said to me, take it and eat it. It will make your stomach bitter, but in your mouth it will be as sweet as honey. Now the book that it's talking about is these scriptures, the Bible, what we have today. Because it's the bittersweet book, bitter being, sweet in your mouth, because when you think about a digestive system, or when you think about you eating food and digest it, first is in your mouth, it go through your mouth first. When it says it's sweet, you first learn this truth. You first learn about we Israelites, we the chosen people, Isaiah 4:1, we got a kingdom coming, spiritual power. You start hearing all these things, that's extremely sweet to you. It outweighs everything that we currently dealing with right now. But when it starts to digest, and the digestive system or the digestion process is always slower than you actually chewing and eating and swallowing your food. So you have to, it's going to take a little bit longer. The bitter part is actually having to have patience to grow, be persecuted, the things you got to go through to get to the sweet, So that's what it's going into. Now, verse 10. So I took the little book from the angel's hand and ate it. And in my mouth, it was as sweet as honey. But once I had swallowed it, it was bitter. In my stomach was bitter. It even said, John was encouraged by the word of the Most High, but was saddened as he realized the approaching judgment on unbelievers. See? The persecutions and the things that come with it, it's a bittersweet. It said, they said unto me, you must prophesy again concerning many peoples and nations and languages and kings. So they was telling him you was going to come again on the earth and prophesy again. And John did, just like everybody else, come back in your life. So now let me get back to the article. So, like it said, she was met by souls in a cloud-like space described as the afterlife. She was met by souls of her deceased loved ones from her current life as well as from her past lives. So, reincarnate. Oh, I don't know how I forgot that. I don't know how I forgot this one. Let's see. What is it? Might be John chapter 9. Yeah. John chapter 9, verses 1 and 2 in the AMP. While he was passing by, he noticed a man who had been blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi or teacher, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Now, how could a man look? It says it was commonly held belief that suffering was punishment for a specific personal sin, but he was born blind. How could you sin if he was born blind? You know, if he was born that way, where would he have? How could he sin? You know. So let's pull something up on Chat GPT. Let's see what let's see what ChatGPT says. It says, "Good version. You're not the first to trip over the verse. At first glance, it does sound odd. How could he sin? But what's going on at the time? There were a few common beliefs. But okay, they said the same thing. Suffering is caused by a specific sin. Parental sin affects children. Prenatal sin. No, that's not right. Verse 4. Number 4. Possible ideas similar to reincarnation. Not mainstream Judaism, but some Second Temple era speculation existed that a soul might exist before birth. Right. So the disciples weren't being random. They were repeating ideas they had grown up with. Now, let's mention this. Reincarnation is mentioned in the Bible. I just want to see what ChatGPT say. If it agrees. See, look at it. Yeah, I'm not going to go back and forth with ChatGPT because it's saying John denied it, but Yahweh Shah said that John was Elijah. So ChatGPT is wrong on that. And since it said that, which I'm not going to read all this, but since it said all that, let's get it. Let's see. Wait. How is it worded? I'm trying to remember how it's worded. Where Yahweh Shai had told him that this was John, this was Elijah that was foretold to come. I'm trying to remember how it was worded. Matter of fact, before I get that, where is it at? This is Malachi 4 and 5. It says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord." Elijah was John the Baptist. He came before Yahweh. The great was when Yahweh Shai came the first time. The terrible day is when he coming back the second time. But now, I'm trying to remember how it's worded. It's like, let me see, is this it? Okay, that's not it. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Matthew 11:4, okay. This is Matthew chapter 11, verse 4. No, that's not it. Oh, 14. I think it said 14. Might have said 14. Yeah, okay. Matthew chapter 11, starting at verse 12. Starting at 11 in the AMP. I assure you and most solemnly say to you, among those born of women, there has not risen anyone greater than John the Baptist. Yet the one who is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater in privilege than he. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violent assault, and violent men seize it by force as a precious prize, which Yahweh was talking about us, the nation of Israel. You know, that's what he was talking about, because a kingdom is is a people before it's a place. So he was talking about how we constantly was going into captivity and being assaulted, persecuted, and oppressed by these heathen nations, but mainly Esau, Edom. Verse 13, for all the prophets and the law prophesies up unto John. And if you are willing to accept it, John himself is the fulfillment of Elijah as the messenger who was to come before the kingdom. So we just read that in Malachi chapter 3 or 4, where it said the Lord was going to send Elijah before the great and terrible day. So Yahweh Shah was letting them know, look, if you can believe it, John the Baptist was Elijah coming back in the reincarnation. All right, so let me get back to the article so I can get to the video. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so here it says, although her heart only stopped for 32 seconds, Harris claimed her experience didn't end in the afterlife, as she was transported to 2 other planets and saw herself living as an alien on each of them, which this is why I say you gotta, pick and choose, because the scriptures don't talk about anything like that. We know the other planets exist, but as far as this experience, what this person experienced, you don't know. So, let me see. It says Harris believed that her soul had chosen all of these different lives, including her life on Earth, to grow and learn from each unique experience. Something she said every person's soul did before they were born. Now, that was very interesting when I had read it yesterday, because it's not that you chose it per se, but rather Yahweh Shema, it was predestined. Everything is predestined in the scriptures. Everything about existence is predestined. It's preordained by Yahweh Shema Shah. And it is true that you come down and we learn from these various experiences on earth, and in our lives, we learn different experiences, different lessons. That is a true statement. Like I said, each unique experience, because each life will be different. You're born in a different era, a different time, different. The world is different since you last was on earth. But, Now, I'm going to read this last one because I'm not going to read the whole thing. It says, before returning to her body, Harris also claimed to have seen an undated point in Earth's future during a time when wars had devastated the global population and humanity now lived in more localized and self-sufficient communities. I was thinking about the future and my mind went in that direction. I saw a future where we return to a much more non-agrarian society, which let me look that word up. Agricultural. So no agriculture. Harris explains, there were wars that happened. We lost a lot of population. And at this particular moment, when I was assessing, we had moved back to living in more localized cities. So, like I say, you take it with a grain of salt. So, like I said, I didn't read the full thing, and I might go back and read more. But now I want to get to that video that I was talking about, and I'm gonna play the. And I'm gonna play this video, and this was 4 years ago. Well, this was 4 years when the brother uploaded this. So, well, actually, it was 7 years ago. He said, remember what this Edomite said 3 years ago. So it was actually 7 years ago. But I remember hearing this story when they first started talking about it. So I'm gonna play the video. The brother's gonna give his testimony about what his wife, not this Edomite, but Edomite had told his wife, and just to kind of go and sum up everything we've been going into. So, without further ado,
I want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Wakar Kodash, to give me the spirit to do this video. This lesson is going into a testimony about spiritual power, okay? And my wife, who comes to me with a lot of dreams and visions about spiritual power, me doing spiritual power and just in general, man, okay, according to the prophecy. So the other day, we were up late at night talking heavily about it, man. That's a very, very consistent conversation in my household, how we believe that spiritual power is coming, man. We just got to believe it, man. It's about faith, man, to move mountains, okay? So after that night, after talking late at night about it, she goes to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, and she texts me. I was still up because I work night shift. My schedule is night shift, so I'm always up. So she texts me the scripture of Elijah casting down fire, calling down fire on the 50, okay, 3 times, man, which he did that when you read about Elijah, all right? So me reading that scripture is very comforting. Anytime I read different scriptures of those great ancient men that believed on that level, man, that spoke into existence, okay? So later that day, she texts me again. Now she works for a hospital, she's a CNA, and there was a certain old man that she was not supposed to watch. It was somebody else's patient that was supposed to watch. But I guess the patient didn't like the person or something like that, so they called her to watch the individual. This was a 66-year-old Edomite, man, that was in a coma for 10 days after having complications with his surgery. So when she went in there to watch him, he's talking to her and he's telling her that there is no such thing as hell. He said he died, okay? He died when he was on the table getting the surgery in a coma, he said. And he said that he realized that there was no hell and that all spirits go back to the Heavenly Father, all right? Which he said God. And the reason why he said that is because he thought that when he died, he was gonna go to hell. Then he tells my wife, he said, do not tell my wife, because his wife left the room, his family. And he goes, do not tell my wife, but there's a lot of evil coming for us, me and my family, okay? That's what he said. So she asked him, she said, so you saw the Most High? You saw Yahweh? He goes, that's his name? He said he saw the spirit of Yahweh. My wife asked him, did you talk to him? And then he said that he was not important up there. Key word, he was not important up there. That's what he said. And he said, God is tricky. He said, God is real tricky. And she said, what do you mean? He says, he loves some and some he don't love. There's people that he loves and there's people he does not love. And the ones he loves is going to have miraculous spiritual power, man. Miraculous power. Now keep in mind, like I said before, the night before, that morning pretty much, because it was late, so it crept into the morning time, we had this conversation about spiritual power coming. So keep that in mind. So he says the ones that Yahweh loves is going to have miraculous power. Have you seen it yet? Have you seen the spiritual power yet? And then she goes, no. Then he goes, you will see it soon. Now my wife is tripping out because my wife has a lot of different visions, and dreams about spiritual power. See me do spiritual power, stopping bullets. I've had dreams raising the dead and different things of that nature. So she just tripped out just listening to him talk. Okay? So he says the people that God loves are going to be like gods. Not God, but God-like. Which we know that's true according to the scriptures. It says you are gods, man. We're not the most high, but we are gods and we're going to be God-like. And we know that's true according to the scriptures when we're changing to our immortal bodies. So he was very, very adamant to tell her this, man. And I was going to do the testimony the other day, and I'm glad I waited, because 2 days later she saw him in the hospital and he did not remember the conversation. And she tried to ask him. He said, I'm not even a religious person. That's what he said. So he didn't remember nothing that happened, that whole conversation. But the things he said was true. How did he know that? How did he know the ones that God loved is going to have spiritual power soon and that she's going to see it? He didn't know that she had dreams of spiritual power. Okay? He didn't know none of that, man. So that's how you know it was from Yahweh Shemel Shah, man. Hey, Yahweh Shemel Shah can speak through anybody, man, to reach you, to get your attention, man. Okay? To comfort you. And that's what he said. He told my wife, I'm telling you these things to comfort you. How does he know what comfort is, man? He don't know the truth. You see what I'm saying? So for the next day, for him not to know anything that happened, man, it's very, very spiritual, man. High level spiritual, okay? On a high level. Oh, also another thing that he told her, when she told him that she was a Hebrew, he told her, he said, I know you're a Hebrew. And you're very lucky that you're a Hebrew. That's what he told her, man. Okay? Keep in mind that he just got out of a coma, man. And he's barely talking. Like, he's not talking loud. She had to scoot up to hear all this, man. So, in the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah, man, I did this testimony to comfort you, Aki, man. Okay, right. To tell y'all this, man.
Right. So, like I said, with the Edomite, he went to the spirit world, and the Lord had him to come back and relay the message to the brother, which that is this brother. Upon hearing his voice again, I realized that he did the video. Like I said, remember what this Edomite said. At that time, he did it 3 years before that, but now it's been 7 years since he did it, and he just re-uploaded it right here. So, but nevertheless, like he said, he went to the spirit world, and he went to the spirit world and heard, saw that he wasn't important. The Edomites wasn't important. And the Most High loves some, and there's some he don't love. We read that in Deuteronomy, showing revisiting the iniquities upon the children. Of the fathers upon the children, to the third and fourth generation, and showing mercy unto thousands. Now true enough, Jake come back and get judged too. Jake come back and get their punishment too. And that's why the disciples had asked Yahweh Shah, who did the sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind, which is true that your parents can, judgment can fall on the children from the parents. But in that particular situation where what the Lord was talking about in Deuteronomy, that was talking about reincarnation, coming back in your third and fourth generation. That's what it was talking about. Coming back in your family line and being judged for something you did in a previous life. So, I just wanted to touch on that. And I hate that I couldn't find that other video about the woman going into the past lives. But Lord will still edifying. So on that note, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers out there pushing his word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping his word of sincerity and the truth. Until next time, shalom.